is good, everybody? Welcome back to the official, unofficial podcast of your 1-0 Montreal Alouettes. It's the Bird Flock podcast. Shayner, the Owls walk into the newly named Princess Auto Field and not for nothing, kind of put a whooping on Winnipeg. That game was never really close, except for the first quarter, maybe. How we feeling?
Electric. I mean, the boys came in, did what they had to do. That was revenge for not putting them at home for week one. Put a whooping on this generation's dynasty, and proved that they're still on top of the league.
100%. I don't think there's any doubt, if there was any doubt, that Montreal is the number one in any power ranking. They proved it last week. Let me pull up here just some quick stats from the game on Thursday of last week. We'll go over that a little bit. We'll get into this week's game, today's game, if you're listening, against the Edmonton Elks. The Alouettes are somehow on the road again, traveling to Edmonton.
Ridiculous.
I'm just going to chalk it up to they have that new scoreboard and they requested to be on the road, but I don't know. So let me go ahead and pull this up. But before we do, Shayner, why don't you break down a few of those injuries that we saw in week one? Obviously, some absolute heartbreakers, but
Devastating injuries. If you
yeah,
sit there and you look, started off well. Obviously, I misread on the bets here that Tyler Snead was going to be the go-to this year, but came out and was buzzing, and then was no longer buzzing. Was cut short in that game, which is massive loss, obviously for Cody, his security blanket.
but I will add, shout out to Tyler Snead for just signing an extension,
Yep,
2025 season, which is sick. Happy to have him back, but Shayner, I'll let you carry on.
for sure. Definitely happy to have him back, but tough loss. I don't think they've said how long he's out for yet. I know it's going to be a couple weeks. They haven't officially put him on the 6 game
No, they did.
or did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did. All right. Last time I saw they hadn't put him up, but
They did.
tough. That's tough. But hey, man, the guy we've been talking about a lot is coming back off the 6 game injured list. Good old Reggie White Jr. He's back. Um, haven't seen him in a while. It's gonna be interesting to see how much action he gets and his report with Cody. Then on the defensive side of the ball, not even getting to halftime, and it was devastating for the boys. Obviously, the Reggie Stubblefield fan club. Torn ACL in the second quarter. That one hurts. Dawson's pick, obviously, for most outstanding defensive player. Um, it's a huge loss. And then to go hand in hand with that one, kind of, I guess, his backup, the guy that would have stepped in that role. Tyrell Richards also goes down. Um, so, linebacking core that was so strong at the beginning of the year that we talked about last week. Already missing two key pieces, but I'm confident that Cosby is starting tonight, and I'm confident. I liked what I saw from him. Confident that he could step up and have a big role with this team.
You still got Contan in the middle who can step in and slide and play basically any linebacker position.
Also,
And
not for nothing, when Wesley Sutton comes back, Najee Murray could slide right back into that role that he led the team in tackles before he went down last year.
absolutely, absolutely. And for me, I don't know, this just seems like a perfect opportunity to bring back the Boy Smoke Monday. I think that would be,
Oh, baby. If we do this again like we did last year, I'm going to be fired up.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, just quickly going back to the game in Winnipeg. Um, Dude, Cody just honestly played lights out. With the exception of the early pick in the first quarter,
That
Cody
was a
went
bad
20,
one.
which was a bad one. And I'm sure he's not taking this as a diss. I'm sure he'll be the first to say that was a bad one. Um, he went 20 for 28 for 250, 254, two touchdowns, and the one pick. I don't think you can ask for much more from your starting quarterback.
Definitely not. On the way
Uh,
to MOP season.
yeah, obviously leading the way on the receiver side of things. Oh my God, Dyson Philpott,
Disgusting. Dude,
11
that first
targets.
touchdown when he made that juke,
Yeah,
I screamed.
yeah. 11 targets, 10 catches, 141 yards, and two touchdowns.
Also, what a time to call the flea flicker.
What a time.
Also, can we talk about Cody was airing it out, bro? He was going for every deep ball.
Yeah. Yeah, he was, especially in the first half. They were taking shots, and
Yeah,
I loved it. But everyone else had two catches. So Snead had two catches for 62. He had that crazy catch on the sideline. What a ball by Cody. What a grab by Snead. Kaon came on a little bit in the second half after he was shut out in the first half, I believe. Two
devastating.
catches, 30 yards. Charleston Rambo had two catches for 10 yards. I think once these weeks keep going, he's going to be a bigger part of the offense, especially with
Especially
Snead.
without Snead.
I think Rambo's going to be that security blanket, even though he's playing out wide. I think he's definitely going to be a security blanket for Cody. David Dallaire had one catch for 6 yards. Walter Fletcher had three catches for 5 yards to go along with 12 carries for 36 yards. And then from there on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of guys with five tackles. Sean Lemon had five tackles and a sack. Bev had five tackles. Sankey had five tackles. Nafis Lyon had five tackles. And Reggie Stubblefield in that one half of work had five tackles as well.
Ridiculous.
He was on pace for double digits. Um, and then his substitute Cosby came in, three tackles. Mustafa Johnson, three tackles. And then everyone else down the list. Marc-Antoine Dequoy had two tackles and the interception. That was a absolute dagger at a time where Winnipeg was driving to end the half. Dequoy goes up, comes down with the ball, and I don't think Winnipeg ever really recovered from that. And I'm just looking at the stats now. Apparently, Kaon had a tackle too. So
Oh,
yeah,
here we go.
and
Yeah,
then
man, the defense came out flying.
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
there's nothing to say. We knew what we had after last year's Grey Cup run. We knew what we had. We knew what we were coming back in. Pretty much every starter was back. Um, and we knew what we were getting, and they came out, honestly, maybe even better than they did last year.
100%. 100%. And you look at what they did and who they shut down, right? The consensus number one quarterback in the CFL, as much as I love Cody, I think it's Zach Collaros. They held him to 20 for 33 passing, 209 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick.
Yeah,
They held the reigning MOC and probably the consensus best running back in the CFL, Brady Oliveira, to 11 carries for 38 yards, no touchdowns.
crazy.
Yeah, they had a day. They held my one of my favorite non-Alouette receivers in the CFL, Dalton Schoen, to five catches for 62 yards. Kenny Lawler, three
Maybe
catches.
the quietest five catch game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, yeah,
For a guy we're used to putting up like a touchdown every game and 100 yards,
yeah,
was probably the quietest I've ever seen him play.
absolutely. Absolutely. Nick Dembski, three catches, 27 yards. Kenny Lawler, three catches, 26 yards. Really nothing overly impressive or anything that jumps out of that sheet for me for the Winnipeg side of things. And obviously, listening to this on Friday, June 14th, um, Winnipeg just went 0-2. They just lost to Ottawa as well. Um, Before we start previewing the next Isles game and the game tonight against Edmonton, do you think the dynasty's done?
I mean, I said it before. I said it in last week's episode. I didn't even have them going to the Grey Cup.
Yep.
Um,
Neither did I.
for um, to sit here and say that I thought they'd be 0-2, I'd be lying, obviously. Obviously expected 1-1, Alouette's beating them in week one, but um, we were kind of haters to Ottawa. We kind of said that like we didn't think they were that good, and maybe it was just because they had that week one bye week, so they had an extra week to prepare. But
Yep.
I definitely did not expect. Uh, you know, you could have made me put like $1 million on them going 0-2, and I probably wouldn't have placed that bet because it's just not something you see from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Um, but Caleros also didn't play in preseason at all, I don't think.
Nope.
So
Not a
he's
snap.
shaking his rust. He's gonna get better as the season goes. He's also getting up there in age. He's a quarterback that's been hurt a lot. So I don't think it's shocking to see him kind of slow down a little bit, but I'm not ready to hit the panic button on that team yet. And I would like to obviously see the dynasty end. I would like someone new to come in there, but I don't think that team's done yet.
No, I don't either. I don't think so either. I think they will definitely get it together. They will find a way. Adam Big Hill back into the lineup.
Also, they probably have the best head coach in the CFL. I think he's going to figure it out
100%.
rather quickly.
100%. They have the best receiving core. They have the best quarterback. They have the best running back. I think it's only a matter of time.
They got a brutal matchup next weekend. They
Where they
play the Lions. They might be 0-3.
That's very tough.
Yeah.
Although the Lions didn't look great either.
Didn't look great. Did not look great.
I don't know if that was more so Toronto looked better than we
Yeah, I know.
expected or BC looked bad. But yeah. And speaking of teams who didn't look good, the Hamilton Tiger Cats did not look good.
Dude, that was bad.
Yeah.
Not good for the season long under 6.5 wins for Calgary.
Not good. Not good. But the Montreal Alouettes face off tonight against the Edmonton Elks. The Edmonton Elks. Who did they play last week? They played
They
Saskatchewan.
played Saskatchewan, yeah.
So they're
Up
open.
like 18-8 going into the fourth, and they collapsed.
Yeah. But big player for Edmonton. The former Montreal Alouette, Hergy Mayala, had himself a day.
Yeah,
Hergy had, yeah, 5 catches for 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. McLeod Bethel Thompson threw the ball 42 times
that's ridiculous.
for
First game back in the CFL.
yeah, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And they didn't get the ground game going really. Kevin Brown had 7 carries for 23 yards. And they spread the ball out a lot. Mitchell had 7 catches for 93 yards. Gino had 4 catches for 85. Curly Gittins had 9 for 62. And then Hergy obviously had 5 for 40 and 2 touchdowns. Um, any thoughts on that Edmonton game? I didn't catch it. I watched the summary, the recap of it, but any thoughts on that game?
I didn't catch it either, to be honest. I was busy playing in a softball tournament that my body was absolutely aching from. But um, for a team to come back from 18-8 in one quarter is pretty electric. Um, obviously Trevor Harris coming off that injury. Um, Saskatchewan always likes to sling the ball. They've always been a big pass game team.
Mhm.
So I'm not surprised that obviously they came back and won, but being down 18-8 and then coming back and winning by 8 is a little weird. So might be the same old Elks as it is every year is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Obviously McLeod Bethel Thompson adds a different dynamic, a guy that, won a Grey Cup in Toronto. A guy that's, well known around the league. But I'm excited to see the boy back playing Montreal and Gino Lewis and see if the boys can contain him. I'm sure he had this one written on his calendar and the one later in the year when he does come back to Montreal for the first time. But these games are always going to be big games for him. So I'm excited to see how much they could slow him down.
Yeah. And how about Sean Bain too? 5 catches, 125 yards, and three
So good.
touchdowns.
He's
He
so
is,
good.
he is making his case as a sneaky top 3 receiver in the CFL.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean that Rough Riders core is absolutely ridiculous. You look at Keon Schaefer Baker. I love that guy, man. He's so good. Um,
My
yeah,
dog Samuel Emilus.
yeah. So they got studs out there. And Trevor Harris, who likes to sling it, is I'm sure very happy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now, previewing and jumping into tonight's game against the Edmonton Elks, a few changes to the lineup that we'll go over here. Obviously, at quarterback, nothing changes. Cody Fajardo, Caleb Evans, Davis Alexander. We spoke on Cody's play. I don't think we need to touch on it too much more. I still didn't like that he stayed in there for some third downs, but
Dude,
uh,
I like that was something I realized while watching the game that I wanted to ask Cody in one of the interviews that I didn't is like what goes through the like how do they decide which plays Caleb goes in and how do they
yeah,
decide which one Cody stays in
yeah,
for?
I don't know. I don't know. No changes to the backfield either. Walter Fletcher, Jeshurun Antwi, Sean Thomas
Oh,
Irvington, and then at fullback, David Dallaire and Mason. I think is making his regular season debut. I don't remember if he played. last week, but if not, good for him. 2023 draft pick out of, I want to say McMaster. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. No changes to the O line. Nick Callender, Pio Lestage backed up by Theo Grant, Justin Lawrence at center, Philippe Gagnon backed up by Christian Matt at the right guard, and then Josh Donovan at right tackle. What were your thoughts on the Al's O line play?
I mean, they held up for the most part. I
Yeah,
think, if anytime a team's taking shots like Montreal came out firing for, obviously it's because they trust their O line, they trust what they're doing. So for Cody to have the time and be able to sling it like he was in the first half, can't have any complaints. I just want to say that the call,
I
the
know
whole
exactly what you're gonna say.
the holding on Donovan, the second time, the second play after, the holding was way worse, and they didn't call it
I
at
know,
all
I know. Look, this O line gave up one sack um against the Blue
against
Bombers.
Willie Jefferson.
That's what I was gonna say. Like Josh
Yeah,
Donovan, I believe this is his first start ever for the Alouettes. That's a fucking big task, dude. Blocking Willie Jefferson, probably the best pass rusher in the last 20 years in the CFL. Like
yeah.
that is a very big task. So honestly, I think all things considered, this O line hung around very well. We didn't get the run game going as much as we wanted to, I would say. I'm sure that will come, right? This O line started a whole lot shakier last year,
Oh
giving
yeah,
five or
the
six sacks.
panic button was out in like week 3 last year.
Yeah, yeah. This was talked about league wide, the
Yeah,
Alouettes last year. So from where they are then to where they are now, I'm very, very happy. No complaints. Um, the receivers, I want to touch on one specific person. But before we do that, the starters, Charleston Rambo, Tyson Philpott, Keon Julian Grant, Reggie Sibasu is slotted in as a starter as well, and then Cole Speaker. We mentioned last year we think Speaker is going to have a big year. We looked at the touchdown odds before the game, and it was like
it's like minus
expected.
200
It
and
was like
plus 200 or
plus
something
200. It was like very expected
ridiculous.
for Cole Speaker to score a touchdown. He didn't have a catch. But with Tyler Snead going down, I know I said Rambo earlier. I think Speaker slides in and becomes that instant check down, that instant security blanket for Cody, like he was in the last half of last year.
For sure. Yeah. If you look at it, he's Tyson and Snead were always the underneath route guys. So they need someone to step in to be that underneath route guy. And with Rambo outside, I don't really think he's going to be that. So they're going to look at someone in the slot, and Speaker's obviously lined up in the slot. Sibasu is a big body receiver. He's more like a tight end. I think last year they had him actually listed as tight end.
Mhm.
So he's kind of going to be hanging around the flats probably. But like you said last week, I saw him obviously last week. He definitely did slim down a little bit. He looks good. That new number looks fire on him. So I'm sure, obviously slimming down, he might have added a little bit more speed. So I'm excited to see how they use him. Obviously, Reggie White Jr. is not on the depth chart, so probably not playing tonight. But let's see Speaker and Reggie. Reggie get their reps in before Reggie White comes in and see what they could do in this offense that apparently enjoys taking shots now.
Absolutely. And then the last two receivers, obviously James Letcher Jr., the return man, and making his season debut, 2023 draft pick, Shedler Furvius is dressing this week. So fired up for that. The defense is where we see a little bit more of the change. Some additional backups here on the DB side of things because we had
It's
one
about
last
time.
week. But we'll start with the D line. So Isaac Adiemi Berglund, Derek Wigan, Mustafa Johnson, and Sean Lemon are your
Oh, big
starters.
sack by Derek Wigan early in the game.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
fired me up.
yeah. And then Brock Goenlock, Moultrie, and Avery Ellis are backing them up in the rotation. At linebacker, I don't think anything's changed. I think
Well,
we just
except for
took,
Cosby.
yeah, but he was in the depth chart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we just took Stubblefield and Terrell Richards out. But your starters, Bev, Sankey, and Cosby. Gagne, Conte Arcu, and Shanyel wrap up the linebacking core. And then the starters at defensive back, Nafis Lyon, Deontay Ruffin, Najee Murray, Kabian Ento, and obviously Marc-Antoine Dequoy at safety. And then the backups in this game are Cravon LeBlanc and Brooks. Anything jump off the page for you?
Not much, to be honest. Same defense that we were kind of expecting. Like I said before, Derek Wigan, big sack to get the game going, get the boys going. Um, this D line is now a strength for us now with the linebackers. Going down with injury. Dylan Wynn,
I
not even
can't
playing
wait.
yet. Yeah, not even playing yet, and this D line already looks like a major strength for us. So, Sean Lemon came in, balled out like always. Didn't like the disrespect that he was not on the top 50, to be honest. I think he absolutely deserved to be on the top 50. He should be on the top 50 every year. First ballot Hall of Famer in my mind.
100%.
Uh, Came in and got a sack early and got the boys humming. So Edmonton obviously has to watch out for that. Montreal, I don't know how much they're going to blitz Cosby. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit less probably than Reggie was blitzing, but he's playing on the same side as Najee Murray is playing, so that I think that'll help him also. So I'm excited to see what he does with a full game and getting his first start.
Absolutely. And then just a quick note on Sean Lemon. So obviously we know the drama with him this offseason and the gambling and whatever. If you want my side on it, I think it's fucking ridiculous. Like I understand the rules are the rules, but it's so much different when you're betting on yourself than when you're betting on someone else. And it's not like he was dropping thousands and thousands of dollars. He bet $70 on himself. Who cares? I understand the rules are the rules,
Agreed.
but should he be suspended longer than Chad Kelly? No, no.
Oh, Pat.
But just a note on him. So his hearing is scheduled for the first week of July, I think it is. So he'll be in the lineup guaranteed.
Which to me is just ridiculous. Why are you waiting until July to
Yeah,
like? I honestly forgot about it while I was watching the game, and then like I remembered. I was like, wait, what? Why is he on the field?
yeah,
Like, if you're gonna do this, but why are you waiting until like week 5 of the season?
yeah. So he has I think three more games guaranteed, and then depending on the suspension or depending on the punishment that's handed down, it'll take effect after that hearing. Um,
So weird.
so weird, but
Like you had all of training camp that you knew he was coming back. You could have figured something out.
yeah. But I don't know how the Alouettes want to address this. Do they want to keep things internally? Obviously, I love Avery Ellis, Brock Gowenlock as like those guys to step in, but the Argos released Sean Oakman. Jamal Davis is a free agent. I
Is
don't
he?
think JD is a free agent.
Oh, bring him back. Bring him home.
I know. I don't think he wants to come back, but
I don't think he's coming.
but no, I don't know. Or no, I'm not even gonna say that. I
Say
was
it.
I was gonna say maybe Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Oh,
say,
there it
hey,
is.
well, go
I
for go for a few games.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Buck comes back and then he goes on to have a great NFL career because I'm
Hey
not
man, they're off for a little bit. So we can send him back for a couple weeks, and then you can have him when
no
training camp
chance.
starts.
No chance. But Shayner, what is your keys to victory for this week? I think we saw a lot. We learned a lot about this Alouettes team last week against Edmonton. Start on the offensive side of the ball. What's your key for this game?
Let's get my boy Walter Fletcher going here, boys.
Yeah.
Let's give him the ball. Let's let him roll. I texted you like halfway through the game. I've seen enough. Get in that Fletch jersey this year, my boy. Walter Fletcher fan club. If you want to join me, you're more than welcome. But probably again, take some shots early like you did last time. Show them that you're not you're not sitting here and you know comfortable with just thinking and dunking down the field. Let Cody air it out. He looked good. That arm looked rested. I know it's week 1, obviously it should be rested, but I feel like he was throwing the ball better deep than he did all of last year.
Yep. It looked more
Um,
effortless, I found.
yeah, I think last year there were some times where like his arm kind of died out a little bit, unfortunately.
Yep.
But he looked fresh, looked ready to go, and that flea flicker, what a time to call it!
Electric.
What a time!
Elec-
I didn't see the start of the play. I just saw Tyson wide open, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
Then I saw the play. I like to see that Jason Moss is aggressive even in week one. I
Yep.
think that game was they needed to prove something.
Yep.
Um, so I think you know what, every game just play like that. Every game prove that you need to prove something. Uh, and I'm gonna like the results every time because they came out, showed they need to prove something, proved it very quickly.
Very.
Um, if I think this is the same old Elks team, if this is the exact same old Elks team, I think this one might be a blowout also.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to my key to victory on the offensive side of the ball, and that's figuring out who's getting Tyler Snead's reps, right? Cody has to identify early, and I'm sure they've done it in practice all week, and he's kind of built that connection with someone. Is it going to be Cole Speaker? Is it going to just be leaning on Tyson Philpott even more? Is it going to be Charleston Rambo? Is it going to be Julian Grant like it was kind of in the first few weeks of last year? I don't know.
Maybe don't wait till the second half to get K on the ball, please.
Yeah, but just identifying what that's going to be, I think is going to be a huge, crucial point to this game, right? Because you don't want him to throw the ball out of bounds on second down on the first three drives because he doesn't have a check down, right? We want to
Yeah.
identify who that guy is, and I think that will be the absolute key to victory on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, Shaner, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you said it before. I think it's going to be, can the Montreal Alouettes contain Geno Lewis? I think he is going to come out on a mission. I think he's been talking all week about how he wants to prove something, how he wants to go for 150 and three touchdowns on this Montreal Alouettes defense. Um, I think he will, without a doubt, come out with a fire in his belly. And it's just going to be figuring out how to stop him, right? If he lines up in the slot, I love the matchup of Najee Murray versus Geno Lewis. I love that. If he lines up out wide, I really do like Kabion Ento, who's a lengthy guy. Nafis Lyon, who played a really good game last week. I like that matchup. I like the help of Dequa over top over any of them. And if McLeod Bethel Thompson tries to force the ball to Geno, like I think they might. I think it's been
I think
preached.
early on he's gonna force that ball to him.
I think he will absolutely try to force that ball to him. And I think Marc-Antoine Dequoy over the last 3 years has proven if you're trying to force the ball downfield, he's more than likely coming
It's
down.
his. It's
So
his.
I don't know if there's a prop out there for a Dequoy pick, but if there is, I'm absolutely hammering that tonight. I would be shocked if he didn't come down with one because I do think, especially with McLeod throwing the ball 43 times last week, I
That's ridiculous.
100% think that he's coming down with one. And if it's not him, it's someone else.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think for sure they're gonna come out first two, three, four drives. That ball's going to Gino. I wouldn't be surprised if the first drive is he has like three targets already.
Yeah.
If they don't go two and out, obviously. But um, my key is the D line, obviously. Like I said before, I don't know how much they're gonna blitz Cosby. That I think it's obviously gonna be less than what they do with Reggie because Reggie's obviously a starter and Cosby hasn't probably had many reps aside from this week in practice being in a starting role. So um, I want to see how much the D line is doing it by themselves. Maybe obviously they're gonna use Bev. I think they're gonna bring Najee. You know how they love bringing Wesley Sutton off the edge too. Obviously he's not there, so I think they're gonna use Najee. So more so if McLeod Bethel Thompson's gonna throw it probably 40 times again, how much the D line can get to him, just those four pass rushers. Um, they had two sacks last week, I think. And I think Edmonton gave up two sacks last week, so right on par. Obviously, Sean Lemon coming off the edge, we talked about him. Uh, Derek Wigan, obviously, but I want to see Mustafa Johnson get going here. Obviously, one of the biggest players in the CFL, top 50 player in TSN on the list. A guy that we've obviously talked about a lot on this podcast in the last year. Get him going, pin his ears back and let him get after McLeod Bethel Thompson. I think that's, if they could get 2 to 3 sacks, I think that's probably their key to victory.
100%. I agree. I agree. Now, Shayner, give me a score prediction.
Oh man. Here we go. Montreal 30, Saskatchewan 10. Edmonton 10.
Really?
Yeah, the boys are coming out firing, man.
I
They're
love
gonna
it.
blanket them.
I'm going to go Montreal 34, Edmonton 17.
The offense is gonna be humming tonight.
Tyson Philpott has another 2 touchdowns. Keon Julian Grant has a touchdown. And Walter Fletcher is running in 2.
Oh, I will run to Edmonton if he scores 2 touchdowns.
Anyways,
Also, I just want to say right now, it's set at Montreal -4. You're gonna tell me that Montreal can't beat them by more than Saskatchewan beat them? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but what do I know? That the betting props will be out. 3 bets will be out later on Instagram. So stay tuned.
absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy tonight's game against the Edmonton Elks, and we will see you next week.